Hello, IK here. Welcome to AI Teacher Part 2. Here is a user interface. This is a label, this hello and hello welcome, and the correspondence chat is indeed HTML element, and here is the input field. In that input field, users type type own text. Together, input text and assistant, we call that AI teacher text, LLM, go together every time to LLM and back. We send history of chat to LLM together with input. But that history go in LLM together with input. But input is very important, and LLM respond on the input, but LLM have context history and use it if need. If we don't send history to LLM together with input, but only show in div that history, LLM don't know nothing about history, and it is worse communication between user and LLM. So work ChatGPT and other. Send all history together with your input to LLM, and the back coming new LLM response with all other with history, with the history. That transfer of text, history, and input go to LLM, go back one direction, other direction, request and response. That information, that text, for that text, transfer of that text go in a JSON format. And because of that, this video, I spoke about JSON format. AI teacher React application, React AI application, there is only two files. This is one. It is fundamental component app.js. Only two files, and this is one of them, user interface, React, and there is a server on Express backend side. Now we look at in user interface. In user interface, here is sending. Here is API from from user interface. We send all that text, history, and input of the chat, send to backend. Send to backend in a format of JSON. You see JSON here, and JSON here. This is, in this video, I only spoke about user interface. In the next video, about server. Also, JSON from here, JSON there. And what means all of this? Before of explain it, I remember I asked ChatGPT that remember me about JSON format, but also in the JavaScript. Of course, you don't need memorize it. You always have ChatGPT. Uh, JavaScript object. JavaScript object, what is it? Different from JSON object. Okay, let's get see. JavaScript object. It is data structure in memory, just like arrays, defined with curly braces. Look at it, curly braces. Keys. Keys can be strings. Here it is. This is keys. With or without quote. With or without quotes. Or symbols. Can be strings or symbols. Value can be anything in JavaScript numbers, strings, arrays, other objects, functions, undefined, etc. It is JavaScript object. Example. Here it is. JavaScript object. Name Alice. Age 25. Number we don't need quote. Alice is string. There is a quote. Keys. There is a no quote, but can be. Greet. Here is a function, arrow function. Address. Undefined can be undefined also. Members of here, value of keys or properties. It is it. But now you can always go back in this video because it is so thin difference, but so important that it is impossible remember on longer time if you don't work every day with it. Okay, now JSON object. JSON object, text-based representation of an object. Text-based. Always enclosed in, it is, keys must be double quoted. Strings must be strings and double quoted. It must be. Value must be JSON safe. It is string, number, boolean, object, array, or null, but cannot be functions, undefined, defined, symbol, or comments allowed. JSON object, JavaScript object. You see, for us, important JSON object, and we must know how syntax of it. This is example of JSON object. Key, proper key, must be string with the quote. Alice value also string with quote, but number don't need quote. Greet, hi, address null. You see, can be null, but all others function undefined and cannot be here. In JavaScript code, you work with JavaScript objects. When you want to send them over HTTP protocol or store them, you convert them to JSON. We'll see that in our example. We don't need example here. Now, difference between JavaScript array and JSON array. JavaScript An array is a native data structure. In JS, an array is a native data structure. Example, declaration of JS array equal, you see, square brackets, not curly, 1, 2, 3, it is number, and here is object, etc. Can be, you see, number, string, object, function, indefinite, symbol, etc. All what in object, JavaScript object. So here in array, all native data structure exist only in your program memory while JS is running. JSON array. JSON array, a text-based representation of arrays, must follow strict JSON rules. Value can only be string, number, boolean, object, array, or null. Undefined and the symbols, functions cannot be. Strings and the keys, look at string and key, must use double quotes, must. And no functions, undefinite or symbol. Example, you see quote, it is a string, key a string, and all other inside under quote. Okay. Now we know difference between these four. We can go to our script, concretely actual transfer information in JSON. Here is a fetch request. Fetch request to server. Fetch request is function. There is that function. There is two parameters. First parameter is address of endpoint on the server, comma, and second is curly brackets means object, is object with key method post. Method post is for sending data to server, data from form, bigger content. Headers. It is invisible in address bar when we send post. Contrary is with get, visible in address bar. Headers. Again, this is headers. In object, we call it properties. But can we call key, field? It is properties. And this is right side is the value of that properties. It is JavaScript object. Java, not JSON. It is a JavaScript object. It is part, you see, part of request. JavaScript asynchronous work, JavaScript request. Headers, properties, equal object, with the object there is content type, and application, and value application JSON, because both sides are under quote. This object is JSON. Or can be also with or without quote JavaScript. You can strictly ask ChatGPT what is it, what is what, and I said now that this curly brackets means object, and that is JavaScript object. JavaScript object. In this moment, we don't have nothing with JSON. There is no reason. Headers, content type, under quote, it can be it is JavaScript object. And here is application JSON value, application JSON. What it mean? These headers as part of API is always bring information for server, and the server will read. It is content type is application JSON. Yes, I'm right. All this is JavaScript. JavaScript. JSON is about content, is about payload. And it is our history of chat and our input and our response from LLM. Also, history, response history, and response uh, text of LLM connected with our input. Uh, okay, now headers. It means that it is headers to say server what kind of load, payload bring to server. Bring JSON. Bring JSON, and you will see. I ask myself, okay, at first, why we must write it? Why it cannot be in background? Because it is no important for us, it is important for communication. But there is a possibility of different content type, and because of that, this moment have to code developer this row. And also, fetch is a very, very primitive level library function for request, different from Axios, but there is a possibility that we wrap all that in some code, and after that fetch can be very, very near Axios. But artificial coded in fetch, and I accept here because fetch is native to React. We don't need install, and fetch would be developed ahead in the future because it is in part of the React, and would be developed like all other inside React from authors of React. It is a team from Meta. It means okay, content what go to server is JSON format, and it is interesting where it is content, how it is formatted. JSON must be formatted JSON. And okay, stopped here in this row, and let's go to find that JSON format, JSON object. It would be JSON object. Look at new message. I said that This must be JSON object. But here it is that information. We declare new message. It is history. It is messages. It is history. Spread operator means copy of all history messages. It is histories together with our input and with response of LLM. Messages, comma, in array, it is comma. And the second member is object. Second member is object. Role, user, content, input. Role, user, content, input. From this side, from user interface, always go this new message. What goes input? Role user, it is role user, and content is input. Input messages and input we declare here messages and input, and always from user interface always go input and the messages. From server LLM, from LLM coming from server communicates with LLM, from LLM coming messages and LLM role, or we call assistant. And content would be a response of that LLM. But also would be messages, but a role is assistant, and content is text of LLM, what's sent to us. And this new messages is array. You look at it is JavaScript array. And who wrap that array in object? I ask ChatGPT. I see array, and where that array, where is wrapped in object? Who add curly brackets outside of these square brackets? Now I'm thinking how you can ask LLM or ChatGPT, why must be in just an object and not just an array? Usually it is object in hypertext transfer protocol, but look at, for a moment, server side. We spoke about this, but here it is the structured assignment from a request body, because JSON is object in that body, these properties of that body. We take this message very, very simple. But if JSON is array in the array format, it would be harder to take strictly name, and can be confusion, name of members. Get back to user interface. JSON here would be object, will be object, okay, but who put curly brackets around new messages? Who and where in code? Who put curly brackets around that? I ask ChatGPT like that, who and where. And response ChatGPT say me here. Here it is. You see curly brackets, around the new messages, and we have our state, uh, our local state here, messages, new messages, column, new messages, and curly brackets. Who wrapped curly brackets around? And where? Who? Here it is. Here it is wrapped around with curly brackets. There is a and immediately stringified JSON. Stringified, it means convert in string. And to server coming string, because only string can go to in that communication. And here is a method stringify of JSON object. Here it is JSON object who were created that object here and immediately stringify. There is one interesting why here is not enough messages, because look at set messages, new messages, because this not changed this moment when we must call this. It is order, but in the next rendering, messages would be new messages. And if we write only messages here, we don't see would be undefined messages would be empty if it is first time sending, because we have messages, new messages. I will continue in the next video. Thank you for watching this video.